Back to Minted Wealth. Today I'm reviewing one of the most unique eye-catching silver coins in my collection, the Count Dracula coin from the Royal Mint. It combines silver bullion with one of the most famous horror stories ever written. In this video, we'll take a detailed look at the design behind the coin, its specification, and whether you think it's worth adding to your own collection. So the first thing that grabs your attention is the image of King Charles. Okay, from this point of view, it does look like a traditional bullion coin. The coin feels completely normal, a 1 ounce Troy coin, but turn it over, it has a dark, mysterious image of the one and only Count Dracula. Okay, so if you're into horror stories or a fan of Bram Stoker's novels, even if you're not, it's hard not to appreciate the design that goes into something like this. So this is my first actual coin that I own that is from the Royal Mint. So the coin celebrates one of the most famous fictional characters ever created. So Dracula first appeared in Bram Stoker's novel written in 1897. The novel became one of the most influential horror stories in literature history. It went on to sell tens of millions of copies. More than 125 years later, Dracula remains one of the most recognized characters in pop culture. The Royal Mint released this coin as part of its Gothic Horror Legend series. The design celebrates legendary horror characters from classic literature. Because it's the first coin in the series, many collectors believe it could be one of the most desirable pieces in the collection. And we know films have been made about Dracula, vampires, so this coin celebrates that history. So the coin itself, official specifications is 99.9 ounces of silver. It has a denomination of £2. Officially weighs 31.130 grams of pure silver. The coin's diameter is roughly about 38.6 millimeters. Royal Mint has been making coins for over 1,100 years, and it's the most respected mints in the world. From my knowledge, 50,000 of these coins were produced. And I would often visit the Royal Mint website before I started stacking just to see what coins they released. And I knew very early on, before I started stacking, I needed to have this coin just because I'm a big fan of vampires. So let's talk about the design. So we have the coin and we have the image of Count. This image was created by the American coin designer Joel Itzkowitz. A design shows an imposing Dracula standing dramatically with his cloak. Behind is a large full moon, and you can see Dracula's castle rising in the landscape. There are 9 bats in the coin in total. So, I'm assuming they're flying in the night sky. So it works really, really nice. You've got 99.9 pure silver written over here. And the moon behind the castle, I think, is a great, great piece to have to make the castle really stand out. The bats instantly remind you of Dracula. The flowing coat gives you an impression of movement and power. Quite similar, actually, to the coin I showed you last week, the American Silver Eagle that has Lady Liberty in the back. On that coin, obviously, you've got the sun. She's got a cloak. So it's quite the opposite coin. We've got the moon. He's got a cloak, but it's a bit more darker. On the reverse, so we have His Majesty King Charles III. The portrait was designed by British sculptor Martin Jennings. So this was one of the first major coins to have King Charles shown on it. This coin's from 2025. He ascended to the throne in 2023 after the death of his mother, and this was one of the first series of coins to be created with his image on it. So it also has an added security feature. So we can see right next to, around his head in the background, we have small tiny dots, and these are active as a security feature. So it's an example of how modern coins production combines artwork with anti-counterfeiting technology. And I might do a separate video on that. So let's answer the question, is the coin worth paying the premium for it? So officially this coin is still available on the Royal Mint website. You can buy it for about £65, not including postage and packaging. The price of 1 troy ounce of silver is £52 the minute. My opinion, I think it's definitely worth it, just because of the artwork, what comes with it, the history behind it. So there are cheaper silver bullion rounds available. However, if you're someone who enjoys designs like I do, then it's definitely worth having in your collection. With this coin, you're buying a connection with one of the most famous horror stories ever written. You're buying the first release collectibles from the series of the Royal Mint of Gothic horror. So I think it's worth paying the premium. It is a unique design. Obviously, the Royal Mint quality is really outstanding. It's got security features. So let me know in the comments what you think of this Dracula coin. Do you own any coins from the Gothic horror legends? And if you do, please let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed this review, don't forget to subscribe to Minted Wealth. Thanks for watching. Until next time, thank you.